Good afternoon. It is Barbara, the East Coast Dragon Lady, coming to you on Sunday, the last day in November before we hit December. It's December 1st tomorrow. And just before I came on here, a whole lot has happened this morning, but a whole lot. I decided to go differently with the cards for, I thought I would do a reading for the month. I was guided to use 5 decks and just do them slightly differently. So I'll explain that when I get to them. So I actually have survived Thanksgiving. It was only the 3 of us, so that wasn't a big deal. But I did have 4 days off. So I found that interesting because the first couple of days my body just wanted rest, food and rest. So that's what I went with. And then, like everything, I had such great plans. And then none of them panned out. I had a list, which I think I'm on the last, got a couple more things to do to complete my list for my 4-day weekend. Oops, excuse me, here I go again. So I wanted to share with you, like I do every week that I do this podcast and this YouTube, where it's a podcast, YouTube. I always come with what I call the real talk. And I think that these 4 days I needed very much, not just because I needed to rest, but because I realized I was going through a huge upgrade. As I mentioned last week, usually it's over a couple of months that I sort of bring myself inward, my energy inward, and then as January comes, I'm like shot out. Well, this time they showed me I was going up, not out, that this was an upgrade in my, what are they saying? They're saying an upgrade in my stability, but an upgrade in my abilities is what I saw. I've been fortunate to do work with a couple of people recently, and it showed very much to me in how I delivered messages which were clearly channeled. As I've also mentioned, this end of this upcoming week, I'm stepping into SRT 2. So they said I needed that spirit release treatment if you didn't get my other ones, which is Laura, her SRT is that I'm having those memory, won't come out my mouth. My brain's going quicker than my mouth's moving. So Laura Starr's soul release therapy, level 2, which is when we start practicing. So they told me I needed this upgrade. I needed to be able to deliver very quickly, see it, speak it, write it, whatever. I needed that. And then, interestingly, it's the end of day 4. I had actually requested a clearing for my son. And I know I've mentioned before that he struggles with significant mental health challenges, is the way I like to put it, because diagnosis, he struggles with a lot of things. And all I can say is I woke up late, which has been the 4 days I've just got later and later, which I love because my body's telling me that I need that. Thankfully, I'm at an age where I don't have children to take care of. I have a cat. What she does is that if I'm not up, she just comes and sits on me. But she doesn't bug me too much. She just comes and sits on me like, okay, or she'll sit and look at me. So I had an upgrade, which was why the first couple of days was rest, food, like just eat so that you can help with this upgrade. And it was seamless. But yesterday, I've lost my thoughts. What I was saying was, so after I was told that this was an upgrade for what I'm stepping into. And then this morning, I opened my email when I eventually got out of bed. Actually, I don't think I'd even got out of bed. I was drawn to going to my email, which I'm not normally, and there was the SRT report for my son, and I really felt I had sort of like palpitations, and I'm like, let me just ground myself, let me, before I even go and open it, let me go and start my day, because I am a creature of habit. And I have to do certain things, right? Which is they feed the cat, make sure the bird feeders are filled, because they were already sitting out there. I'm sure the squirrels were in the background going, she's late, where's the food? Because then it's usually a fight between the squirrels and the birds. So I got all my morning things done. Eating for me is very grounding. So I grounded myself, and then I grabbed my computer and opened it up. And all I can say is I was blown away by the accuracy and the explanation, which is a huge, I know some of you have had these done. This is my first time seeing something that I've been living with, and as it confirmed for all the time that I've had my son. And it answered probably all the questions. Most of it I knew on some level, and so did he. And so this morning has been a little bit chaotic, because then he wanted to take a shower, he wanted to do the salt, because sea salt scrubbed down. He felt very much like he wanted to cleanse himself. He slept until like late morning. He does tend to sleep a long time once he's asleep. But I didn't wake him because I wanted him to have his good sleep. So then of course he's always in a panic. I had to find the salt, because that's what I've been doing. Get him scrubbed down with that. And I've been backwards and forwards with like helping him understand what's been going on for him, which actually confirms that what he's been saying, he's been seeing, because he has hallucinations. Was confirmed that most of what he sees is actually real. It isn't made up. It's not like a hallucination. It's actually real, because he's always been a medium, which you've heard me say that he talks to people that have passed. He's been able to connect. But he also has a witch wound, which I know I do as well. So I really feel that is what he's been persecuted in all of his lifetimes, because he was a healer, he was a seer, he was all of those things. The biggest one for me was, without revealing it all, that in the Victorian era, he was in a mental health institution, which I could see in my mind's eye, and he was badly treated and sort of made fun of, which I know in this life has followed him. So it all made sense. So if you've ever been on the fence about having a spirit release treatment, I highly recommend it. I know Laura does have somewhat of a wait list, but she's hoping that the more people that can join her and get certified, that it will relieve that load, so the wait period isn't so long. But there's definitely a need for a lot of this clearing, which is what's allowing us to, at the planet, to elevate itself. So that was sort of my morning into early afternoon, and I'm like, here it is at 2:30. So I was drawn to do this for the week. I also wanted to share that when I was being shown my upgrades, how I was getting very rhythmic. Oh, and that's happened actually in a couple of work that I've done, that there's this rhythmic, it's like Mother Gaia's rhythm of the earth. I could hear this sort of drumming, and then I was guided to write a piece about crone energy. So I'm going to share that with you. I have yet to post it. So this is hot off the press. This was channeled, is what I'm going to say, because it was So I heard that I was being validated as being a crone, fiercely independent. I embrace my identity, and I'm not bound by societal demands or need validation. I am free to be my authentic self. I offer guidance and teaching, and help with the shadow side of myself and others. So the message I got was around Mother Moon and Father Sky. Excuse me. It was very shamanic. Very shamanic, Native American in flavour. I was also shown an Egyptian lifetime and names of the Egyptians, which I'll talk about probably another time. So this was the actual message that I got. So Mother Moon, Father Sky, the children are the stars, long forgotten cultures, long forgotten healing rhythms of Mother Gaia too. Long ago, stories and traditions were told, passed down to children to speak to their children's children. Now it's in the wind, the sun, the moon, the stars. We speak now in many languages, but not the one you are hearing. This is the heartbeat, the rhythm, the notes, the vibrations in the air. As the crone steps into her rightful path, the stars are singing. The stars, her children, shine bright, mother to mother, father to father, child to child. The rhythms keep beating. Its heartbeat is that of the moon mother, the earth mother Gaia, and the rhythm goes on. Earth mother child is the moon mother. So the earth mother's child is the moon mother. The father is the sky crone, revered by many. He is a symbol of peace, he is a symbol of power, and he is the symbol of union. The moon and sky, the children are stars, giving birth to galaxies, sending love into the great abyss of the universe. The rhythm of life goes on in the sun, the moon, the skies, and the stars. Listen now to the rhythm of the Grand Mother Gaia. So I just got body chills with that. So that's what I was gifted yesterday. And then there was this other side of me, and this was just some of my notes that the names that came to me, and I'm often given names and then I have to go and look. So Hathor was the mother, and it lines up with the Native American, which I thought was interesting. So beauty and music and dance. She was a major goddess, Hathor, the eye of Ra. She was the sky goddess. So again, goes with that. She was the daughter of the sun god Ra, and her consort Horus was her son. Isis was the magic healer. So I have to go back here to, I made a lot of, so yesterday was about exploring celestial mother and father, ancient wisdom keepers. There was the eagle and crone energy, crone medicine. So the pyramids, ancient wisdom coming through me now, memories of past lives in the pyramids, Hathor, Isis, and Nefertiti. This is ancient knowledge. And then I got the ancient Native American knowledge. So lots of things flowing through me, which I found interesting. And again, as you can hear, I've got this raspy voice again, which is always, I just think I clear it. I've had the blue avian, working on my throat chakra. I think because there's been so much high vibrational energy that it's made it difficult. So I apologize for my constant throat clearing. So let's move on to these oracle cards, or the oracle decks, and the message for the month of December. So dragon's blood. Blood sings to blood within our veins. The secrets of ages are alive. We urge you, human child, connect with our blood, our history, our stories, and keep alive the dragon within. So that's for the month, is dragon's blood. Blood sings to blood. Within our veins, the secret of ages are alive. Sort of feels like that with me. I will post all of these, by the way. So the first card I pulled was the goddess Siege, which is quiet time. And it says, take some time alone to rest, meditate, and contemplate. So that always reminds me of Merlin with the contemplate. But the shadow card I pulled was arrogance. So I think this message is that we need to take the time to be alone and to meditate. Otherwise, we can become very arrogant. And this is the inability to see our own flaws. We need to know our limitations and keep learning. So it's about taking time, like I've been doing, but also taking that time not to be arrogant. I would have said 2 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here telling you that I've had an upgrade, telling you that I've been given this information. It's about stepping into my power, and that's what I'm doing. And this will all sort itself out. So then the fairies sent us inner child. And the shadow message is about resisting change. So oftentimes with the inner child, I think that takes us back to our innocent times when we maybe lost our innocence. And by resisting change, it can bring up uncertainties about the future, which requires us to adapt to new way of doing things. So that often happens when we decide to step in another direction, which is me. Then I got 2 dragon cards. Not surprising, the fire dragon for December and the fire and water dragon, which enables us to flow with loving force. So the fire, the fire will come in and burn away all the negativity around us through our chakras, through our emotional bodies. It will burn all that way, so it sort of drops away, and then the water comes in and helps flow it away. So if you imagine the fire dragon clearing a path, and then the water comes in as cleansing. So that's for December. So lots of cleansing and clearing. And then which one was it? Oh, this was the angel card as well. Do the work, which I thought was interesting. I think I've talked about this card before. This is sort of an image I often see. So this is sort of the aura. So do the work. So yes, we need to put the work in. It says there's going to be a mysterious shift. Personal growth can happen quickly and in ways you may not initially understand. So that may have been personally for me. I do understand it. I've also been fortunate to know that now that the veil has lifted, they're saying it's almost lifted for me, that's why I could see a lifetime in the Native, what are they telling me? They're showing me buffalo. So white calf buffalo woman. I've connected with her before, has been my guide. is one of my shamanic guides, and she is showing herself and saying that was part of a lifetime. That was a lifetime for me. And then there's another lifetime over here, which had similar. She's showing me that it lined up where I was in Egypt. And I think a lot of us have memories of Egypt. I just wanted to pull a couple more cards. So we're overthinking. That's probably for me. I try not to be an overthinker. I think I'm an over-worrier, not an overthinker. Let's give some clarity on that. And lack of empathy. So that can be very easy when we're burnt out, to not be empathetic, unable to truly understand others, leading to conflict and lack of compassion. So when we don't have empathy, that's what happens. And I see that in burnout. You can be burnt out spiritually. You can be burnt out just with work or the sheer volume of work and not giving yourself enough time to rest in between. So if you're on the spiritual path and you're finding yourself overworked, you need to stop and I actually gave this message to somebody last week, that not working over the weekend, work Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, is your time off. Or you might want to do Sunday through Saturday, whatever combination works for you, but you need 2 solid days off, is the message I'm getting. And don't overthink things. So that's interesting. Oh, they're telling me I need to pull some more cards. Okay. So I also want to thank on YouTube this last week, it was like almost 120 people viewed my video. So if you are new to seeing me, thank you. I've had a few more people join my Facebook group, so you can find me at East Coast Dragon Lady at gmail.com or eastcoastdragonlady.com is my website, which I need to put some updated things on. Insecurity, fear of not being good enough. Build confidence and love your uniqueness. So just what I have learned about myself is embracing my uniqueness. So a lot of people, especially this time of year, for some, things slow down because people are saving money. People are, because it's that time of year of gift giving, they're seeing that they need to buy gifts. So if you're like massage therapists, if you've got a Reiki practice, a lot of those sort of things often slow down. Hopefully people are buying gift certificates for you. I'll send that out. Or this is just sort of a quiet period. I remember years ago, my hairdresser always used to say January was dead. Like hardly anybody booked appointments. The people that she had as regulars had gone to Florida. So, and I've pulled this card, no boundaries. Difficulty to establish healthy respect. Take care to ensure your needs are met. So yeah, again, really important. I think especially this month, we've just got if you've got a family, we've just got over Thanksgiving. So you've been running around, I'm hearing running around with like a chicken with his head cut off. And now you're like swept into this whole Christmas fiasco is what I'm hearing. Again, I have adult children. I do not have young children. I do not have grandchildren. I don't have to worry about those sort of things. I have one cat, don't have to worry about the dog. So it's really time for me to be able to step into these things. I was just explaining that to my son because he was asking me again about when could I start doing certain things. I think we come into this lifetime with all of those gifts. Sometimes we don't wake up to them till much later. So it's only when the time's right and the stars aligned is what I'm hearing. They're going, the stars need to be aligned So it's funny how I get these. So I was, when my grandparents were alive, I had a grandmother who loved all these sayings. She used to call them old wives' tales. But she was very, very superstitious lady. It's funny. If there was a thunderstorm, she would put us under the table and cover us, right? And always the tables always had long tablecloths on them. She'd put us under the table and she would cover all the mirrors up, even though we. It was just funny. But that's how my mum was brought up, with all these sort of really unfounded old wives' tales of, I guess there was a witch component to that, which I'm just realising, that these sayings came from sort of like beliefs which held that sort of energy. So my mum was not very, I'm hearing the word worldly. When she married my father, she'd led a very sheltered life. I probably hadn't dated very much. And she tested my father with a lot of her superstitions. He was a scientific man. Everything was very, which is, I think I shared this before, which was, he believed when you were dead, and that was the end of it. And then years later, a few years after he died, I went to a medium because I really wanted to connect with him. And I knew that it was him, because the first thing he said was, "You never thought we were going to be having this conversation, did you?" So that was very confirming, because the person that was doing a reading was an American, and then he was using some English things. He was saying cheers, which was his way of saying he was British. And she said, "Is your father an alcoholic?" And I'm like, "No, but I can see him going cheers or cheers, mate," because that sort of was a greeting, right? Or if you had a glass in your hand, you say cheers, mate. Or if we're in the pub, it would be cheers, mate. Not I came from a family that didn't drink, didn't go to the pub, even though the pub life is sort of, a lot of people, that's their hub, right? So it was always funny that when he came through, he would say things like that. And for many, many years, he left me pennies, handfuls of pennies, all the way around the house. Not so long ago, he told me that they would stop, because his words were, "I'm going back down." So apparently he's been reincarnated. He said it was time for him to come back down. As he said, "I'm going back down," which would have meant that I wouldn't. He always says I can always connect with his energy. That's how he showed me. He showed me that the energy that I held with him as my father would always be there, sort of like his soul. I'm almost seeing like a shelf with a soul sitting on it. That I can always access. But he was being reincarnated to go on that to learn more lessons, was what he said. He said he hadn't learnt all of his lessons, so he had to go back down. But he's had quite a fun time before he went back down. He did a lot of travelling, he said. So, but it's interesting how after he told me that they stopped. So I think a lot of people find pennies, or there's always something like feathers. For him, it was pennies, and it was. I was actually at a psychic fair. I've forgotten what I was even selling at the time, but I was there, and there was this psychic sitting behind me, and she kept saying to me, "Do you have a father that's passed?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." And she's like, "He's here." He's like, and every now and again she would be like, "Do you see pennies?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." She goes, "Oh, that's your dad." "Do you see this?" "Oh, that's your dad." He's like trying to get your attention. And then I've been fortunate since then that I can actually talk to him now. Again, that was another expansion for me, and also be able to speak to my mother, which was also very helpful for me for this lifetime. So I think that is all I have for the first week in December. So clearing your path. So what are we saying? So find some time to be quiet. It's a hectic month. Don't resist the change that is coming, and change is coming for all of us. Be more disciplined in your planning. The fire and water dragons are going to be working with us this month. So fire's going to clear, water is going to come in, sweep it away. There's going to be a shift. I've already had my shift has been upwards, not outwards. So it's a bit like growing. I always remember a doctor telling me my kids couldn't grow out and up at the same time. It's the same spiritually. We're either going to go up or we're going to go out. I've done a lot of expanding out. Now I'm going up. I am offering channeled readings. I've never openly said that I channel, but often when I do oracle readings, they're channeled messages. I realized on the last one that I did, the cards, I always tell people I pull certain cards because it guides me, and then it just flows. So it really is a channeled message from, and that I've been told that I can connect with anybody and everybody's higher selves or above to bring in messages. So if you have questions, you just want a general reading, a direction, that is what my readings are. I call them readings. I also, when I did Dragon Empowerment Reiki, it changes for every single person. What you need at the time is what the dragons will be guided to do. So they literally they put me to one side and they do the work. So it's almost, so I'm actually making the connection now. It's a bit like SRT, where you connect with the guides of the person you're doing the clearing on. And that's why you need to be a medium to do that. That it's the same thing that I can do. The dragons go, thank you very much, and let us proceed. It's different every time. So I find that fascinating for me, because I may have an idea, and they're like, no, you don't have an idea. No, I don't. Because I'm thinking I'm going to do a Reiki session, and I don't think I've done a traditional Reiki session in years. So if that's something that speaks to you, or you want to experience the dragon energy, because it's high vibrational. I mean, the energy that comes from, they're saying it's coming from the galaxy, it's coming from they're going from a planet far, far away. Yeah, I know. Okay, that's Star Wars. As I've said, they can be very funny. We're coming from a planet far, far away. But the energy is extremely high vibrational. It's interdimensional. It's intergalactic. It literally comes in extremely fast. It's very purging, very clearing, very centering. And it just often blows people away. Oftentimes they will confirm things. They don't predict. They're standing behind me going, we don't make predictions. We don't say, next year this is going to happen. They're confirming. They will put you back together. They will do all of that aligning. So again, if you're interested to find out what the dragons have to offer you, please feel free to contact me either via my website, which is eastcoastdragonlady.com, or email me, which is eastcoastdragonlady@gmail.com, and you can put whatever you want in there, YouTube, reading, whatever. I know my podcast is doing the rounds. If you watch that podcast, I was offering a $30 reading, which is I will do a regular reading for $30, which is saving of about $30. So sort of half price reading. If you listen to the podcast, I would love to offer that to you. The instructions are in the podcast, so just email me and put podcast, and I'll happily do a reading for you. So if you've seen the podcast, there is another one coming out that I was a guest on. I don't have a date on that yet. But this was Beck Nelson, and there are a few snippets going around the internet of my interview with her, and pictures of my dragons. So you can't make this stuff up. So I hope you all have a good week, and I'll be back soon. Have a good one.